My name's Ian and this is Alison. We work for a local educational charity called the Brentwood Schools Christian Worker Trust, which serves schools all around the Brentwood area. Just before 8 o'clock on a cold January morning in 2007, a 39-year-old man wearing a baseball cap began playing a violin, busking outside a train station in the American capital city, Washington, D.C. For the next 43 minutes, this violinist played 6 pieces of classical music. It was the rush hour, of course, and during those 43 minutes, 1,097 people passed by. 7 of those people stopped to listen for a short while. The violinist was a man named Joshua Bell. Now, that name might not mean much to you, but Joshua Bell was, and still is, an internationally acclaimed musician. 3 days before he busked at that train station, he played a concert to a large audience at the Boston Symphony Hall, for which the average ticket price was $100. And 3 months later, Joshua Bell received an award recognising him as one of the best classical musicians in America. At the train station, he was playing a Stradivarius violin worth almost £2 million. And one of the musical compositions he played is considered to be one of the most difficult violin pieces ever written. And yet, of the 1,097 people who passed by that morning, only 7 stopped to listen. No doubt the 1,000 or so people who passed by without stopping were busy. They had things to do, places to be, and yet they missed an extraordinary opportunity to stop just for a few minutes to listen to an amazing musician playing some beautiful music. I wonder what you and I miss in this world, simply because we are too occupied thinking about our own concerns, our own interests, our own lives. I wonder what we're not noticing in the lives of other people.
One of the most famous stories in the Bible comes from a time when Jesus was extremely busy, being followed by huge crowds that wanted to hear what he had to say. The Bible says that Jesus landed by boat on the shore of the Sea of Galilee in Israel. He saw a large crowd of people and had compassion on them. Jesus spoke to the people and he healed the people that were sick. The story continues that as evening approached and people were getting hungry, a young boy gave Jesus 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. And Jesus miraculously turned that small amount of food into enough to feed over 5,000 people. Of course, there's plenty to discuss in that story, but it all started with Jesus noticing that there were people in need, and Jesus having compassion for them.
The word compassion comes from 2 Latin words. The second part, passion, means to suffer. And the first part, com, means with. So to have compassion for another person is, literally speaking, to suffer with them. That involves making space to notice what is happening in other people's lives and wanting to do what we can to help. Dr. James Doty, who is the director of the Centre for Compassion and Altruism Research and Education, says this: compassion is the recognition of another person's suffering and a desire to ease that suffering.
The Apostle Paul, who wrote parts of the New Testament of the Bible, once wrote these words to a group of people in the city of Philippi in Greece. Do not be concerned only with what's important to you, but also be concerned about what's important to others. Follow the example of Jesus. He had the nature of God himself, but became a human being and made himself a servant to others. If there's one thing that we might be learning as a result of the current pandemic, it's that our behaviours, the things we choose to do each and every day, have an impact on other people. If we just carry on and do whatever we want to do without a thought for others, then it can end up having a negative effect on their lives. So it's really important to notice the needs of others, to be concerned about what's important to them, and to have compassion.
A few years ago, a story hit the news in the city of Winnipeg, Canada. A public bus driver named Christian D had been driving his bus route as normal. But on this particular day, he stopped the bus, jumped off, and approached a homeless man who was walking barefoot. Christian D gave the homeless man his shoes. When he was asked about what he had done, Christian said this: "Usually, when I get up in the morning, I pray that if I see someone in need, I might be able to help them out somehow. This was the second day I'd seen this guy walking across the street in his bare feet. You could tell he was sore. So I pulled the bus over and I said, 'Where are your shoes?' He said, 'I don't have any.' I said, 'If I give you a pair of shoes, will you keep them?' He said, 'Yes.' So I gave him mine." I wonder what you and I could do today to be thoughtful and to show compassion for the needs of other people, whether that's within our own school community or our own family and home or beyond. Psychologist and author Daniel Goleman says this: "Self-absorption kills compassion. When we focus on ourselves, our world contracts as our own problems loom large. But when we focus on others, our world expands. Our own problems seem smaller, and we increase our capacity for compassionate action." Let's show compassion to others today. Thanks very much for watching.